Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at Bill Bird Kia, PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia. Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. $1,748 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Scorpion TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment and news networks, or watch thousands of movies on demand, all for just $45 a month when you use the ESPN NW promo code at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Scorpion TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Scorpion TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Scorpion TV logo. Don't forget our promo code ESPN NW.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CB Construction Studios. Get ready. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
Live and local.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
This thing is going to be a financial and cultural disaster.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Whopper, 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 whopper.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Keep making noise! Keep making noise!
James, take it over from here. I'm just leaving it
And
with
welcome,
you.
everybody.
What's going on at Panama City? You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with a full house, and I'm not talking about Jesse, Uncle Danny, Uncle Joey. I'm not talking about, what's the other one? Who's my crush? Stephanie, I believe her name was, which was like Jodie Sweetin. Yeah, DJ was one, too. But I think I liked Stephanie a little bit more. You have any celebrity crushes while we're, having a little free time?
Charlize Theron.
This guy put his hand straight up. I was like, wait, did you just take Viagra for the hand?
Whoa! Kate Upton, man.
Kate Upton. That's a grown man. So there was a Sports Illustrated issue. Actually, there's, just a Sports Illustrated. She was on Swimsuit as well. But she was on, so you had BJ and Justin Upton, who are Atlanta Braves, and then you had Kate Upton, who's the wife of Justin Verlander.
Oh.
And she is gorgeous. There is no doubt about that. I think we got people calling in. That's not even my call-in question of the day, dadgummit. Like, why y'all calling in?
What about mine?
I don't even know. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
What about celebrity crush?
Your celebrity crush. Yeah, but I'm looking at this man answering the phone, and I'm thinking about the calling question of the day. You're like, what about my question? Like, well, you didn't say question. I put that word in your mouth. Your celebrity crush. Let's go ahead.
Oh, man.
It's going to be the only one that's just...
All right.
All right.
I thought you were going to say Tom Landry.
No, it'd probably be more like Mike Leach or something.
I could just listen to him talk. He could just like reading. I started to say the dictionary.
They have that app.
They still have
the one that when you go to sleep at night.
Oh,
he reads like he'll talk to you and read.
He'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Like Mickey Mouse does.
It's an app. No, there are a bunch of celebrities on there where they just basically you go to drift off to dream listening to these people talk. I think it's called.
ChatGPT?
No, No, it's a sleep app. But
It's a
anyway,
sleep app.
yeah.
I've got Sam Peebles coming up at about 4:05 or so. Wait, is that Sam right there? That you
We got him on the line. Whenever you're ready to go with Sam.
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait there though, because we have conversating that we still have to do around these parts.
What's yours?
Yeah, your celebrity crush.
I'd say my big celebrity crush was Topanga.
I'm glad that we've exited
Topanga
what
from Boy Meets
happened
World.
here, though, because I was going to go in some directions that should not be gone in. Topanga, that's a good one. She was a beautiful young lady.
We're too old for that. We don't know what he's talking about.
I remember the
Boy Meets
show,
World.
but I never saw it.
What?
That's before my time. I mean,
It doesn't
I saw it
matter.
after
Reed
my time.
watched
So,
it.
Boy Meets World is about
I don't
Corey,
think so.
Sean, and Topanga. Every episode from the first to the last. How can you not remember Topanga?
My goodness gracious.
I'd never watched the show. I was probably like in college.
Well, listen here, Leanne, okay, and this might make you
I hate
feel
to
better.
break it to
He's
you, but
got
you were
more-
post-college when that show came out.
When did it come out?
How about Kelly
He's got more
Kapowski?
gray hair in his beard than you have in your hair, so he deserves to be able to remember Topanga. Alan, do you have a celebrity crush?
Yeah, Charlize Theron for sure. Yeah.
I love her as
How do
an
I
actress.
spell
She's
that?
great. You don't know?
Theron is the last name. She's
Yeah.
from South Africa. She's the
I
blonde.
think it's CHARLI.
Yeah, with a Z.
Hey, all you had to do was spell the roan. And
Yeah,
she's-
you're right.
yeah,
She's been in so many
golly.
movies.
Oh,
yeah, that's
absolutely.
a crush that all of us should
Atomic
have.
She's
Blonde.
beautiful.
That's
she really is.
oh my goodness gracious!
Fast and Furious,
Single
I
ladies,
love
text
that.
your number to 850-215-6290. If you look like Charlize Theron, I'll buy you dinner.
Jack
the next time
Patterson's
I
was
see
Daisy
you.
Duke.
Daisy Dukes.
Oh, Daisy Duke. I saw
mean,
some
come
Daisy
on, dude.
Dukes
You got
today at
shorts
Publix,
named
and I was
after
like, girl, put some clothes on.
What? It offends you as a lady?
Not offends me, but I'm just like, I don't want to see your butt cheeks.
Well, okay, but just like that little last
See, Dave, you should have went to
curl.
Publix and not
Fine,
went
I'll
Dixie.
put pants on.
Pants. I mean, if you're gonna wear pants, wear some yoga leggings or
pants,
whatever.
leggings,
Yeah, that's what I think. I
tights,
think
whatever.
Every female should be wearing those at
I
least
love
one day a week.
leggings.
You love them too?
Yes, I wish I could just live in
Wearing them
all
or
the time.
watching them?
Wearing them.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right. Falling asleep and now this, like, all right.
I'm gonna
Don't
text
even
from Randy here in a minute.
I know.
Get back on topic.
Don't even walk back into Golf Plus. Let's go over to one of my favorite guests. Also, Race to Talladega coming up this afternoon at 5:40. We've got a packed show for you guys. Alan Watson coming up at 4:20. We've got the Coach's Daughter Corner coming up at 5 o'clock. Then Coach Jeff Estrada joining us at 5:20 this afternoon. James Fife spinning the ones and twos, and Chef Ross was like, I want to play copycat this afternoon and wear Milwaukee Brewers stuff. And I'm like, why would you wear your own team when I could wear an opposite team? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So we'll get to the phone line. We've got Sam Peebles on the line with us. Sam the man, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, we are doing well over this way. How are you doing this afternoon?
Doing fantastic. My daughter's about to have a softball game, and I'm helping coach tonight, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's actually Jeff Estrada's at 5 o'clock. Coach's Daughter Corner at 5:20, so I did kind of mess that up because originally Sam Peebles was going to be on with us at 5:20 today, but as he just mentioned, his daughter has a game and he's going to be on the sidelines coaching. So what base are you coaching, first or third?
I think I'm going to be the one that's responsible for the lineup, so I'm going to be making sure it's 8 U's. I'm going to be making sure the girls bat in order and all that stuff so that we don't get an automatic out, so no pressure.
Oh, you've got the tough job. Well, the questions today for Sam, I have a little bit on the Braves, and then I have a little bit more to learn about Sam as an individual, as a human being. So first, we'll start with the Braves. Sam, what's the biggest surprise of the year for Atlanta, either good or bad?
Well, there's not really a lot of good surprises, if we're being honest. Really, probably the biggest surprise for me is the massive drop-off for Chris Sale. I mean, it was pretty obvious that he wasn't going to pitch to the same level that he did last year. But his underlying metrics showed that he still was going to be a very effective pitcher if he continued to pitch the way that he was. But this year, I mean, he has dropped off tremendously. His expected ERA is a 4.24, which is in the bottom 41% of the league. His expected batting average is down in the bottom 33% of the league. Like, this is not good. This is not the Chris Sale that we know. So I've been really surprised to see, just for reference, last year's expected ERA was a 2.80, and it's up to a 4.24 right now. So, yeah, Chris Sale has probably been the biggest surprise for me.
All right, there you go. Are there any changes in coaching or analytics, which I know that you kind of specialize in, that have stood out this year?
Yeah, this year I'm starting to see more bunts, which, analytically, the way to go is there's hardly ever a reason to bunt. Just mathematically, it didn't make a lot of sense. But they've been running the numbers and figuring out that there are actually some times to bunt. You have to use the correct players in the correct situations, but through analytics, they found more opportune or high probability of bunts working, and they're starting to do that more. So we're starting to see a slight increase in bunts, which I did not anticipate happening.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We have Sam Peebles on the line with us. He is the creator of the Braves Dugout podcast. Is there a breakout player or an under-the-radar contributor that fans should be paying more attention to?
So I'll say I kind of want to point out a player that's not a Brave because it just is absolutely shocking to me.
Well, give me a Brave and the non-Brave.
All right. Well, the Brave that you're going to see break out is Drake Baldwin. He hasn't been doing too well so far, but all of his underlying metrics are showing. Yeah, you're right. He got his first home run, and that was because he has the best hard hit rate in Major League Baseball. No one hits the ball as hard as often as he does. So, yeah, he's had some bad luck. He's had some poor luck. But if you continue to be hitting the ball harder than anyone in the league, the hits are going to start to fall. And that's going to happen for Drake Baldwin eventually. So I think he's going to break out here real soon. And then another player outside of the Braves is Kyron Paris of the Angels. I think most people probably have not heard of him. This year he's been probably what people hoped Joe Adell was for the Angels, 5 years ago. But right now he's tied for third in Major League Baseball in wins above replacement. He's got a batting average of close to 350 at 349 and an OBP of 451. The kid is killing it. He's already got 5 stolen bases, 5 home runs. I mean, he's been a large part for why the Angels have been so, competitive this year. And I would venture to say that most people have not heard of him before.
All right, there you go. I have not heard of him, but I will keep an eye out for him. I don't think that he's someone that I should look for.
Yeah, you better not go pick him up.
I was about to say,
I'm going to get the waiver.
Well, okay.
He's my waiver pickup.
Well, you're getting very defensive here. I'm a little curious about this. Why are you getting so defensive about waiver wire pickups, Sam?
Maybe because I'm not used to being down 14-0 in a fantasy baseball match.
And we're talking about categories right now, but I've been playing in a league with Sam now for, what are we at, 10, 11 years?
Something like that, close to a decade. Somewhere
around that area. And for those of you who, this is important, right? The backstory is important. He won last year in our fantasy baseball league, which is normal. It's either me, him, or maybe someone else, but that maybe is like rarely that happens. But it's me or Sam that wins. And Sam, it was me versus Sam last year. Sam won the championship. So I want to preface what we're saying, with that. But right now, yeah, I'm up 13-0 right now on Sam. But hey, there's a long way to go, isn't there, Sam?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I retooled. Like, after the first week, I retooled as soon. I was like, we have 8 guys in our league, and only 4 of them really pay attention. So you kind of have your pick of the litter when it comes to fantasy baseball with Sam Peebles and the gang. And I enjoy that, man. I enjoy playing with Sam because this man knows baseball. Sam, I've never asked you this question, and I'm excited to hear your answer. What's your daily routine like during the season?
Well, I do most of my recording on the weekends. So Saturday and Sunday morning, I wake up before the family does, so I don't take away any family time. And then during the week, I'll be assigned a day or two that I'll be doing game coverage and stuff like that. And so I got to make sure I prep for that, know all the pitchers that are going to be pitching, all the players, and how they match up against those pitchers. And I have to write 4 articles a day when it's my day for game coverage. So I'm pretty booked with writing for that single day. And then outside of that, that's just that's my baseball daily routine. But then I have my normal job that I normally work. I work 8 hours a day. I teach at the college online, and then whenever all my other free time is either spent with the family or helping citizens with something in Lynn Haven.
All right,
Go, Sam.
Have you eaten a meal in the last 30 days?
I'm like, what
Should we send DoorDash?
That right there is like a paintbrush dip in a watercolor paint tray right there of what he actually does. But can we send you some DoorDash, as Alan wants to say, because I agree with him.
Get some sleep. That's right.
Yeah, I don't cook. I don't have time to cook.
I'm not gonna send you any sleep though, because I like my sleep.
Since we're on the subject, since we're on the subject, let's talk about it. Did you know that if you get 6 hours of sleep instead of 8 hours of sleep every day, every 11 years you're gonna add an entire year to your life being awake?
Well, I'll
So there's
live
the key.
forever then, because I never get more than that. Wow. Huh. Interesting.
I love fun facts with Sam. I mean, one of my favorite things to talk about. Also, this is a fun day today, being able to learn a little bit more about Sam Peebles. So your daily routine, we've got that, just doing anything and everything underneath the sun. Outside of that, if the Braves had a reality TV show, who would be the breakout star?
I think it would probably be Ozzy Albies, because first of all, everybody loves Ozzy Albies.
And he's got that dog, that dog. Can I pet that dog?
He also has a giant fish tank. He loves fish, and he takes care of fish, and he's always posting about his fish. And they're not just little fish; they're big fish too. So I just think that he'd be the most entertaining. Of course, there's other entertaining guys on the team too, but just Ozzy Albies as a whole human being, I think, would just be a reality TV show in itself.
All right, there you go. Do you have a question for him about your Orioles? Like, why are we garbage? Because we could ask the same question about the Braves. Why are we garbage?
Exactly.
Shut up over there, Milwaukee.
That's why you're in the Brewers, Ed. You got to support a winning team once in a while.
Exactly. Every once in a while there. What's your go-to spot for food in Atlanta before a game? And that could be in the Battery, that could be in the stadium, but just anything go-to food for Sam Peebles and the Peebles family.
Well, we always try to go to the Yard House, which is right outside the stadium. It's kind of, bar food kind of. It's really good.
All right, there you go. I mean, if Sam says it's really good, then it's really good. Have you been to church yet?
Yeah. We stayed at the Battery at the Marriott right there, and I took my whole team to a game. Made a huge mistake of going at the end of July and sitting on the third base line, about 6 rows up from third base. We all got sunburned to a crisp. There was no amount of dipping dots to cool us down. It was...
And for us bald head fellers,
oh my God,
that's a terrible thing.
my whole team got burned to a crisp. Beautiful stadium, great food right outside the door, like you mentioned in the Battery. Just a really cool place. I'm sure all major league parks are going to eventually sort of look like that, where you have the entertainment district built into it, right?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things we're going to talk about at 520.
Is it?
Yeah.
No,
if you wrote your own questions, you would know that.
Oh my goodness, ladies and
Shots
gentlemen!
fired.
Yeah, I feel like I've just been
Alan,
luckily I have a bulletproof vest on.
The last time I was here, they were all over me.
We're going to be on you every single time you come in once a week. Then we're going to be all over you every single time that we have that chance. My goodness gracious, we do the same thing to Ross. We don't do the same thing.
You and Rick got into it that one day. Remember when it was Phillies?
Me and Rick get into it
every day. That was entertaining.
Literally every single day. That's what people don't realize, is that it's so authentic. To me, it's very authentic when it comes down to me and Rick arguing about things. But
Sam, before I blow a gasket, you think we're ready for robot umps yet or not?
Ooh, I am. I like robots.
I like to see how a challenge system goes first.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Correctamundo.
Yeah.
You're watching Telemundo on ESPN West Florida.
I don't want to go straight to the robot umps. I want to try the challenge system first and then see what happens, because that's just something I'm very analytical, but there are certain things that I like old school Major League Baseball. Like, I liked how the American League and National League were different with the DH. I like, that there can be mistakes, very clear mistakes from the umpires and the reactions you get out of players and coaches.
100%.
I just dig it.
I miss the fact that instant replay has already killed the manager meltdown that we had way back in the day with like Lou Piniella.
Right. We don't see Bobby Cox and Lou Piniella anymore.
Ooh. I think, if you think about it, you think about professional tennis has always had that really quick replay that the umpire could have to make sure that the ball hit the line or didn't hit the line or whatever. And obviously the baseball's moving not as fast as a tennis ball, but it's fast enough that the human eye can't always pick up on it. So to have the challenge and be able to say, no, we think that was a ball, or no, we think that was a strike, if that's what we're talking about now, tag outs and things like that, that's a little more questionable sometimes. But a ball or a strike should be correct.
Yes.
It shouldn't be disputable.
But still, always growing up, there was never this is the exact box strike zone. It was the umpire better call it even. If it's a strike in the top half, if it's a strike in the top half of the inning, it should be a strike in the bottom half of the inning. Pitchers and hitters will always adjust to that.
I personally think that consistency should be key, but because that the box is customizable, I like the challenge system where it's like, all right, we'll tap our little head, which is funny because who was it, Sam? Was it for the Nationals? Was it Dylan Cruz who tapped their head and the umpire was like, yeah, goodbye, you're out of here.
Yeah, right.
Why?
Yeah.
Because hold on real quick, Sam. In spring training, they were testing this theory out, and so what you do whenever there's a pitch that comes in and you don't like the pitch, you tap your head.
So
now we don't have that, but they're tapping it, and the umpires are like, "Yo, I was umpiring in spring training too, bro. Like, I know what you're kind of getting at right now." Sam, back to you.
Mike Trout did it the other day when
Mike Trout did it. If Trout did it, then everyone's going to be doing it. Oh, goodness gracious. We've got Sam Peoples on the line with us. He is the creator of the Braves Dugout podcast. Not only that, but he writes for BatteryPower.com, which is one of the top-rated places to go get your Braves snacks on, if you will, if you like reading. All right, so we've talked about your go-to spot for Atlanta, but have you ever written something that as soon as you pressed publish or whatever word it was that you, or whatever box it was that you clicked, have you ever written something that you instantly regretted or that blew up way more than expected? I know the second half of that, something has happened, but what about something that you've instantly regretted?
Yeah, so as you know that I'm a big I'm very into the Hall of Fame voting and which players should be in and which should not, based purely on statistics. And I catch a lot of flack for saying that Dale Murphy, while he was a very good player, is not actually at the caliber to be a Hall of Fame player. And so I've done that on my podcast, and I figured, hey, I've done all this research. I might as well do it in written form as well. And a lot of Braves fans, including guys like Grant McCauley and some of those big influencers, did not take kindly to me writing that article. So I kind of regretted that a little bit. I mean, I still stand by it, but maybe maybe some opinions are best held to yourself. I don't know. But as far as things
I disagree. Keep putting out your opinions
but
like
you
that.
didn't grow up watching Dale Murphy either. He was it for the Braves back then. I mean, he was the star of the team.
Yeah, but reality is reality. Your opinion's your opinion.
Yeah, but the
matter.
team sucked.
It's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of really good.
There's
or not the Hall of MVP players on bad teams. Right, he can still be the best player because I grew up watching Dale Murphy.
Yeah.
And he was a folk hero. He was Superman. He was everything. But again, that was an era when the Braves were somewhat lackluster, somewhat disappointing, and they just never had a team that could compete really, really well until you got into the pitching era with Smoltz and Glavine and those guys. So, but popularity contest, he gets in.
Right.
If it's statistical, which is what Sam's saying, then I would tend to agree.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've done the research, Sam.
Yeah, I have. I had to be able to back up my stance pretty deep.
Well, you stand by what you wrote. Don't back down. Isn't that a song?
Stand by Me, and there's also a movie.
I Won't Back Down.
Oh,
Yeah,
I Won't Back Down. Tom Petty. Yeah, absolutely. But there's also, Stand By Me, which is a great movie and also a great song as well. Sam, we've got to get to Alan Watson here. My final one that I will ask you is, what's your spicy but reasonable? So it's not necessarily a hot take, but kind of a Taco Bell sauce that's mild take about MLB.
I will say, overall, my spiciest take is that it's a travesty that a relief pitch is that the fact that a relief pitcher is the first player to ever be voted into the Hall of Fame unanimously is a joke. Because a relief pitcher pitches a fraction of what starting pitchers do. If a relief pitcher was to pitch as many innings as a starting pitcher would, they would not be as good. And it's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Best at your position. Not to mention, a relief pitcher is still a pitcher. It's the same position. They just pitch less. So what's the line? Are we going to start saying Matt Stayer should be in the Hall of Fame because he was one of the best pinch hitters of all time? Terrence Gore should be in the Hall of Fame because he was one of the best base runners of all time? Best pinch runner of all time? No. So does Mariano Rivera belong in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely he does. Wasn't he an elite pitcher? Absolutely he was. But the fact that he's the only player to ever be a unanimous selection, that is bad.
We're going to go along with Alan Watson in the next segment. James, please give me your thoughts.
But Mariano Rivera,
you're talking to yourself back there.
Mariano Rivera dominated it. He basically was the guy that created the position. Yes, there were guys before him that were closers, but Mariano was the guy that came in and became the monster that we have closers being today, where it's just, you're not the 7, 8, 9 guy, not even 8, 9 inning. You're just the 9th inning guy that we go out and you just shut down, you close down. He gave up 9 home runs his whole career. He invented the cutter. Nobody could hit it.
Invented?
Let me counter with this.
Okay, all right, counter up.
I want you to tell me with a straight face that if
you got to watch a straight face, okay?
That if Randy Johnson had not been a closer, or if Randy Johnson had been a closer, that he would not have been better than Mariano Rivera. Absolutely, he would have been.
Say it with a straight face, James.
He only has to go out there for one inning, and he would dominate for that one inning. But no, Randy Johnson had to deal with fatigue and all that, the tear that goes into your arm for having to pitch that many innings.
And Randy Johnson also started playing in a time where that was the case on how you
flying.
on a case how you still played the game, because Randy Johnson got into the game in the 80s. We didn't even have a hold back then. The hold wasn't even kept as a score. So just basically the back end of the bullpen now has been growing since the 90s.
So if I could join in, the argument isn't that Rivera should or should not be in the Hall of Fame. It's he's the only unanimous when you got people like Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken Jr., Ken Griffey Jr., that anybody with eyes that can see realizes that they were first ballot Hall of Famers their entire career, and they didn't get unanimous choices.
Correct.
And also,
Mariano Rivera absolutely is a Hall of Famer. I agree. He should not be the only 100% selected.
I agree.
Yeah, and also you're saying that because his position is utilized the least of any position, essentially, other than maybe a pinch runner, that it doesn't really make as much sense because you haven't built the body of work that a starting pitcher or a starting third baseman or whatever would have time in the game. Is that what you're saying, Sam?
Absolutely. You got it.
Makes sense.
Well, there you go. It always makes sense when Sam Peebles speaks to the peoples of Panama City, talking about the Atlanta Braves and more, because this was not necessarily a heated discussion about the Braves, but more or less about baseball in general. Sam, we've got to get to a break. Enjoy some baseball, or is it baseball or softball tonight?
Softball.
Softball. Enjoy some softball this evening, and thank you so much for giving us some of your time.
Absolutely. Go Braves.
All right. Sam Peoples, creator of the Braves Dugout podcast, is Thursday, which means that his latest episode dropped today. So go give him a follow and make sure you listen to his latest episode. Coming up next, I've got some more ChatGPT questions for Alan Watson. You're right over the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going all the way Golf Plus when we get back.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the Man Cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The remainder of the day, sunny and a temperature of 77 with wind 8 to 12 miles per hour out of the south. Clear skies tonight, a calm wind and quite warm near 63. Sunny and 78 tomorrow. 79 and mostly sunshine with a light breeze Saturday. Sunday, mostly clouds and a temperature about the same at 81. This is your Thursday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
That boot store invites you to think outside the box this Easter by going Western for your Easter outfit. From the smallest to the largest and famous name brands, sizes, styles, and colors. From pants to shirts to belts and boots for guys and gals, the perfect Easter outfit is waiting for you. So this Easter, dress up the whole family by shopping that boot store. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Billburg Kia 15th Street, Panama City. That boot store where God is good all the time.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. For everything in the world of golf, it's the Watson Report. Thursdays at 4:20 with Alan Watson from Golf Plus. ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back at the doghouse riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and I was a terrible host in the previous segment, not for any other reason than forgetting that we're at the CBC Construction Studios, and you can go get your job at cbcconstruction.com or give them a call at 850-747-3815. And I think that we got derailed because you said something about my calling question of the day. Not about it because I never brought it up, but you were thinking that I was trying to override one of your opinions. No, I don't want to hear it, second mama. Like, I do not want to.
Absolutely wrong assumption.
That's normally what happens with overthinkers. But calling question of the day is, what's the most heartbreaking loss that you've ever witnessed as a fan? You can text or call in to the Jed Lawyers phone line at 850-215-6290. Now, we have the great pleasure of talking with the owner of Golf Plus, Alan Watson. I was over there at Golf Plus today, and as always, just a joy to be in that store. I got my putter re-gripped. It's been a long time. Actually, the last time that my putter was re-gripped was at Golf Plus. And my brother got it done for me, my brother Alex. And so I was trying to hold on to that one as long as possible. And I realized this last weekend, it's time to get it done. So I got me a new blue Super Stroker there on the Nike Ignite putter, which you're like, antique right there.
Vintage.
Yeah, vintage is true. But Alan Watson joins us now in the CBC Construction Studios.
Hey, guys. How's it going? We had some sort of big tournament this past weekend, I think, in golf. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was something they were talking about being the master of golf or something like that.
Yeah, it was
some tradition unlike none other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were giving away this jacket, and they were so excited about the jacket. I looked at the trophy, I was like, that thing's beautiful, and they're like so happy about the green jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we had the Masters this weekend. It really is kind of the granddaddy of them all for golf. It's the only major, if you're not a big golf fan, we have 4 major tournaments a year, and it's the only one that's played at the same location every year, and it's played in Augusta, Georgia at Augusta National. And so that just makes it really special. And if you're growing up thinking that one day you might be a professional golfer, this is the thing. This is the one tournament, or if it's not your number one, it's your number 2 that you dream about when you're out practicing in the yard. It's the one where you go like, that's the one I want to win. So we had a heck of a tournament this year, and I don't get to watch a ton of golf because I work so much that I try to spend my weekends with my wife. But this is one of those where the TV is going to be on pretty much all weekend, and she has to apologize as she walks in front of it. Whereas, so I mean, I don't make her.
That's a
she
rare
just
apology.
Does it. She just
knows.
does it. Yeah. Like if I'm watching Hawaii 5-0 reruns, she ain't apologizing for walking in front of it. But if it's the Masters, yeah, we might get a little head nod or something.
850-215-6290. Give Alan Wassam some questions to talk about this afternoon on the Jed Lawyers phone line. What was your biggest takeaway from this year's Masters?
Well, the biggest takeaway was probably Bryson not really coming to play on Sunday, but the real story for golf fans and for the world of golf was Rory winning, because that completed the career Grand Slam for him. He had all of the other majors. He did not have Augusta. He didn't have the Masters. And so there was that, that thing where people kind of fuss and say, well, he's great and all, but. And so this finally answered the but. And so good for Rory. And that is the big takeaway, really, is just that he got it done finally. And honestly, like a lot of times in golf, a lot of adversity in that last round, did not play particularly well, even missed a short putt on 18 that he probably should have made. He still won in the end. So good for him, and good for golf, really, because even if you're not a huge Rory fan, we need things like this to happen. We need those big stories, and this is definitely a big story.
Yeah, it's a huge story, and great for the game of golf in the sense of the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. But when we're sitting there watching the Masters, you're seeing the best from the LIV Tour. You're seeing the best from the PGA Tour, and everyone's clamoring like, this is what golf should be week in and week out. Do we get to a point anytime soon? Well, and I know that this is beating a dead horse over and over and over again, and I love, right. I mean, well, more would be like,
FUD. Like a sick horse.
Yeah. I was messing with my cousin Susan. If you're listening right now, I told her that I eat horse. She's like, no, she was talking about this show that she loves to watch called Heartland.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't seen it.
She watched like all 19 seasons, and she's like, Ty Borg, and he's got the prettiest horses or whatever. I'm like, you know what I love to do? I love to go kill horses and eat them.
So mean.
Yes, I am. I'm not mean. I like to make people laugh. I like to make them think like they'll be like, oh, is he serious? And then they realize, oh, he's not serious, and then they laugh. If they realized I was being serious, and they probably wouldn't laugh as much. But I've never eaten horse for real. Would I try it? 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would try it. Like if you'd say, here's a little hot thigh.
No.
The United States is the only country that bans horse meat for human consumption.
I said I would try it. That doesn't mean I would be on the grounds of United States or not. I'm just saying that if someone offered me horse, I'd be like, okay.
Every other country in the world allows horse meat, which is actually higher in iron and nutrients than beef, to be eaten by humans.
Even Canada?
Even Canada.
So don't become 51. Stand your ground. Stand your ground.
All right, so before we derail that, you were going to talk about the fact that this is what PGA Tour should look like, right?
Yeah, I know, but horse meat sounds so much more appetizing.
It's great. We've talked about this before. I don't see anything happening anytime soon. But you're 100% right. There was a lot of hate online for Bryson and from the other LIV guys, and people saying, well, you only play 3 rounds, so that's why you can't compete on a 4-round tournament, this, that, and the other. That's silliness. Most of these guys played at a super high level on the PGA Tour, which is why they've now been that's why they've been paid so much to go to LIV. So we know they can handle playing multiple rounds and all that. It's not that big of a deal. It just didn't look that good for the LIV guys this week, but it was Rory's tournament to win or lose, and but yes, would be nice, easy for me to say, if that's what it looked like week in and week out on the tour.
So do we get some shepherd's pie next year for the Masters dinner?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, obviously he gets to choose it, and I, being from Northern Ireland, I'm assuming that there'll be something like that. A lot of these guys pick very traditional menus, and then other guys just pick what they like. So we'll see. I mean, I remember John Rahm saying that he felt pressure to produce a Spanish menu because he's from Spain. Not like anybody, he just felt like if he didn't, I mean, like, who knows? The guy's favorite dish might be meatloaf, right? Yeah. But it's like, that's just not from Spain. So then he couldn't feel in good conscience doing that, right? So yeah, I think we get shepherd's pie next year, and this is so cool because now we're early in the golf season. Rory's now hit that major accomplishment, but we still have 3 more majors to go. So now you get into this crazy discussion of what if he could do the Grand Slam in 1 year, not just the career Grand Slam, right? Yeah. So it won't happen in all likelihood. Yeah. But I've already put in some numbers on Hard Rock. Right. So that becomes the next thing when we go to the next tournament. We get this. Next? Or the Open, they changed the order. They moved the PGA up, didn't they? Because the PGA used to be at the end, and they moved it up because the timing was so terrible. And what's interesting, 1 month at a time. 1 month at a time. Right. And what's interesting is, he won at TPC this year, which is considered the 5th major. So what if he won TPC and all 4 majors? Slam. That would be the Rory Slam. Right. That would be something really unique. How crazy would that be? Because when Tiger was doing what he was doing, right, and you're going into the final leg of his winnings, did you think it was going to be called the Tiger Slam? I don't think we thought about what it was going to be called at the time. But the fact that it was so special. It was special, though, yeah. I mean, you knew what he was doing was inhuman. And, again, to win in a golf tournament competing against 150 other guys would be like if NASCAR put 150 cars on the track in a race, right? I mean, that's too many people to have to try to beat. It's just a lot week in and week out. So, but yeah, I mean, the tournament overall was just great. It was good for sport. It was good for golf. It gave a lot of people to talk about, and the ratings were very high, which television ratings nowadays, it's hard to get them high for anything. And so for golf to spike like that and to have really high ratings was good, because golf being segmented hurt the ratings. Other things, there's too many things to watch, blah, 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 blah. Other than the Super Bowl, it is hard to get Americans to sit in front of their TV as a mass and watch a sporting event.
Anymore. We have so many options out there, we can go.
But the Masters pulled it off this year.
Yeah. They did. And they did a great job. Coming up next will be the PGA Championship, May 15th through the 18th, U.S. Open from June 12th through the 15th, and then the Open Championship in Rory's hometown. How wild would that be?
Oh,
well, I don't know if it's in his hometown.
It's home country.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
All right. So
So that's going to be amazing.
But let's say he wins PGA Championship, U.S. Open, and then is there, and then has a torrential downpour of bad luck happen to him. That would be amazing. It looks like you had a question, or no?
Yeah, I was just wondering if y'all saw his daughter Poppy make the putt.
At the par 3? Yeah, that's cute.
And then everybody yelled, and I think it scared her, you know, and she was starting to freak out. But I was like, wow, I can't even do that.
No, that was pretty amazing.
It was cool.
I started to show the clip to my wife, but then I remembered that she doesn't care.
Yeah,
so I was like,
wait, she doesn't even like kids? Is that what you're saying?
It was a cute thing, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
if it had been a corgi
Denise,
making the putt, she would have loved it.
I love corgis.
There you go. 850-215-6290. The owner of Golf Plus right now, who is also sponsoring the Inside Drive, is awaiting your questions. All you got to do is text them into the Jed Lawyer phone line at 850-215-6290. What do you think this means for his career or his legacy and the momentum that comes behind that?
I mean,
I'm not talking to y'all no more about where I get my questions from. Because these are so good.
I mean, his legacy is cemented, and kind of like we were talking about with Sam Peebles in the last segment, where you start talking about Hall of Famers and stuff like that with baseball and football and all those other sports. You know, he was already going to be a Hall of Famer, right? He had the career, he had the wins, he had the majors. Most professional golfers don't win one major in their whole career. He already had 5 or 6 at that point before the Masters. So, you know, his legacy was secure, but the good thing for Rory is he's still young enough that he could still do a lot more. You know, if we look back at Tiger, when Tiger was crushing it and then things started to go off the rails, some partly his own doing and then partly some injuries. You know, we always say what could have been, right, with Tiger. Could he have beat Jack's records? Well, I don't think that Rory's going to beat Tiger and Jack's records, but I think he is going to clearly cement himself in the top, 5 to 10 of all time by the time his career is over, barring some, disastrous injury, because he's in good health and he's playing good golf. He's always in the top 2 or 3 favorites at every tournament he shows up at, and showing no signs of slowing down. And now he gets this career-defining win that caps off the career Grand Slam. It puts him in very elite company. So you got to think his confidence, his playing's already there, and his confidence was probably there too because he's Rory McIlroy. But this has to make him feel like when he goes to the next event, like, I'm still the man to beat. Don't worry about me. I've proved it.
Third place is like 10 career majors, right? Somewhere in that ballpark?
I believe so.
I think he can get there.
I think he can get
all
to
the
10.
Pressure of not winning the Masters is off of him.
I think he gets to 10. Ryan and I talked about that on Monday in the Inside Drive. I think he gets to 10 because he's at 6 now. I think he gets to 10. Now, whether he wins, one a year for the next 4 or 5 years, or whether he wins one every other year, obviously it's difficult because you only get 4 shots a year. Like I said, you've got the best players in the world trying to hawk you down and beat you. I mean, he came awfully close to not winning this one because he played so poorly on Sunday. So we could be talking about choking and collapsing and all that. That's what we would be talking about had he not won. And instead, we're talking about career and all this
How
stuff.
close was he, though, to collapsing?
He was. He looked like the Atlanta Falcons when they were up on the Patriots, and you thought, well, game over. Turn off the TV and go have some snacks. That's what it looked like was about to happen. You thought, well, that's it. And honestly, then Justin Rose was, I don't know if he realized that he could go that low, but he wasn't the person that I saw catching Rory, and then he did. That putt on 18 was unbelievable.
Went to the tournament practice facility or whatever. We can't call it a driving range, God forbid. Actually, you know what?
You call it whatever
the
you want,
Masters driving range,
right?
And that's where he was.
Yeah, well, and that's what you do when you tie for a lead.
No, absolutely.
When you're the leader in the clubhouse, and there's a chance at all you're going into a playoff. You're going to go stay loose, hit a few shots, knowing you've got to go into a playoff. And that brings up a whole nother discussion if you want to talk about momentum and all that. It wasn't that long of a wait, thank goodness, right? It wasn't like it was a 3-hour wait, but it was enough that maybe it throws him off. But honestly, Rory just hit a better shot into 18 and whatever.
Rory's got all of the
Wait, it wasn't into 18, though, right?
Yeah, they went back and replayed 18.
Oh, replay. Yeah. Okay, all right, in the replay,
the sudden death playoff.
I didn't get to watch the replay, though. Or not the replay. I didn't get to watch the playoff.
The playoff hole.
Well, I say I didn't get to. I could have, but my phone was dying, and so I needed to charge it, and I was spending time with family and everything, and it was like, I'm not going to prioritize golf over y'all when I never see y'all.
Right.
But it was one of those things that I was... If you are a police officer or a law enforcement officer, turn your ears down.
Allegedly.
But I was.
Allegedly.
I had it right there. Like, I was playing Bluetooth.
You were watching your phone while you were driving.
Not watching, listening. You ever heard the radio? But it was playing a visual. And maybe my eyes glanced over there every now and again. But... By that time, he had tied it up. Or not tied it up. Took the lead on 17.
Right.
And then I get home. Not home, but I'm at my people's house. And Ryan Mulvey texts me, and he's like, they're going to a playoff. I'm like, this idiot just freaking bogeyed 18 after having the lead. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even watching, but now here we are. Yeah. And it's wild... how the game of golf works like that, though, and the mentality that comes with hitting a good shot over and over again.
Even at the start of the collapse, I look at my TV, I see he's up huge over Bryson, and I'm like, well, this is Rory's tournament to lose. I no more than say the word lose, and that ball hits the drink. Yeah. I'm like, I jinxed him.
Yeah, I mean, look, major golf and professional golf tournaments, I'm sure, are super stressful anyway. But when you get to 18 and the patrons are 40 deep all around it, and all you see is a sea of bodies, granted, you're trying to sort of zone that out, I'm sure. But the reality is they're there to see a spectacle, and then you go pop one into the bunker and have to get out, and then you miss a 3-footer, 4-footer, whatever. Like, it's got to be defeating feeling because you know you're capable, but yet you've also, like you said, you've gone, Ross, from a pretty substantial lead to where did this guy come from, and now I have to go beat him in a playoff. So it was a mess.
It was.
It was a mess, but
I got a question that's not on the GPT.
Well, I don't know if I can answer it then.
It's the OG question.
Y'all are done. Like,
I don't look up my answers. I just know the questions.
What can you tell us about the Masters marker? That's a really cool story.
Oh, with Max Homa? Yeah.
So the Masters marker is the best player at Augusta every year, is basically set up to play if they have an odd number of players make the cut. So they go out in twosomes on Sunday, and so if for some reason, and Saturday as well, if for some reason like somebody has to leave or they get sick or they have an odd number make the cut, they will put a marker, i.e. a player out there. His caddy does not have his name on his bib. It's just a white bib, and the score is not actually kept, and it's certainly not shown on television. But that gives the field the pace, so to speak, to have an equal number of players out there. And sometimes this guy, who's really, really good, has actually beat players. Sergio Garcia got beat by him one year, and then I think I heard this year it was actually a different guy that had been the last few years, but it's basically the club champion essentially, right? This is the best player out there. I think they said the guy this year was either a +3 or a +5 handicap, which is not, when you say plus, that doesn't mean on the bad side. That means like below par. So a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it is.
I absolutely agree. You know him?
No, but we're waiting at each other.
Hey, there we go. Hello, my friend. Well, he's going to be on this segment coming up next. That is Coach Jeff Estrada. Actually, wait. Yes, we have one more segment, I realized, just because we just went to 450. And James was like, break. It's like, brother, like, I don't use brakes. It's all gas,
no brake.
No brakes. You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs. That was the owner of Golf Plus, Alan Watson. Listen, if you're headed up north 231 and you're like, what should I do? How do I spend my time? You go to Golf Plus. Tell them where to go up there in Dothan.
Yeah, 2571 Montgomery Highway, which is 231, just up the hill from the traffic circle. We've been there in that same spot 36 years. And then here in Panama City Beach, we are at the shops at Edgewater next to Firefly. And we would love to see you. If you're thinking about getting into the game of golf, if you've been in the game of golf, if you just want to come by and talk golf, or if you need to get your putter regripped like Dave did today, come on by and see us. We appreciate you guys.
It was so awesome, too. Like, they give me my putter, and they're like, is this how it should be? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
well, they weren't asking you because they don't know. They want to make sure that you're happy with it.
No, that's where I was headed to, is because they're so knowledgeable. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people who like their putter grip that way or whatever. Mm-hmm. These guys will take care of you if you know what you're doing in the game of golf. I don't. A lot of you do. Right. That's why you go to Golf Plus. And if you're not right now, honestly, I want to say woo and slap you in the face. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, and we will get ready to come back with a little bit of trivia.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Race to Talladega. Join Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 to enter. Then at 12:40 and 5:40, listen for your name to be called. If we announce your name, race to the phones. How long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. The two fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to the Jack Links 500 from PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Panama City Toyota, and your racing station. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The remainder of the day, sunny and a temperature of 77 with wind 8 to 12 miles per hour out of the south. Clear skies tonight, a calm wind and quite warm near 63. Sunny and 78 tomorrow. 79 and mostly sunshine with a light breeze Saturday. Sunday, mostly clouds and a temperature about the same at 81. This is your Thursday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. We have a great guest in with us this afternoon. She's here with us on Thursdays when she wants to be. That is Leanne Swartz-Gerber, the coach's daughter. Listen, you can give it back to me as much as you want to today.
I know. You get really defensive when I do give it back to you.
I don't think so. Only when I feel like you're in kind of the wrong or whatever.
No, it's just usually all the time. Oh, I love you. You know it.
Nah,
there's no cowbell.
I didn't feel no love right there. Yeah, right. When good things happen, we got to be ringing the doorbell or ringing the doorbell.
There is a good thing going on. Do you watch American Idol?
No, hell no.
I haven't. No, listen, I haven't in years. But now that football stuff, basketball's over. But anyway, but one of the finalists, guess where he's from?
I'm gonna guess Meridian, Mississippi.
You are correct.
It's so easy to play trivia with Leanne. Like, it's like, where did this person grow up at? Meridian.
And you win a bottle of Slap Your Mama hot sauce.
Yeah,
That's
there
right.
you go.
That's right. I need to get some more of that, by the way.
And a little cinnamon stuff, too. That's pretty good as well.
Yeah, kiss your mama.
They can get that, listeners can get that at...
Nobody sells it here right now, but they can get it online, slapyourmama.com.
All you got to do is slap your mama, then go to
slapyourmama.com. Anybody needs some samples.
Well, if you need samples, she will bring you some samples. But we do have the 4th annual Pops Pig Pickin' going on here soon. I don't know where it's going to be held at. So, Chef Ross, I would enlighten you to enlighten us. Or empower you to enlighten us on the details.
All right, so it's going to be on June 14th, the day before Father's Day, at the Break Room, 2727 Joan Avenue. I was asking some people at the Break Room today if you were to give locals directions on how to get there. Would you use the golf course up the road or the mothership as the spot that you would give directions from? Because if you're in your vehicle, you're not going to look over and type the address in your GPS and go there exactly where it is. But it's on the corner of Joan Avenue and North Lagoon. I'm hoping to do a whole hog barbecue this year, which is a little bit different than the barbecues of the past. All proceeds are going to help people that are about to be affected by the upcoming storms here. I hate to sound like I know they're happening, but we live in Florida. We know they're coming.
Yeah.
So I'm using this to save up the money and go feed people and love on people from Bay County like I've done in the past by going to Georgia last year and Louisiana a few years ago with my dad. So it's going to be a good time. We have a pool tournament scheduled to start at 1 o'clock. That's $15 entry fee for the pool tournament. And tickets for the dinner are $20.
All right.
Jack Patterson says, y'all quit picking on Leanne. I would say...
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
I disagree totally, wholeheartedly. Jack, just quit listening. AI Alex says that hat is doo-doo. He likes when I wear Cub stuff. But actually, if you are a fan of a team that I don't have a baseball hat of, I would implore you to go to Lids and buy me a fitted hat, size 7, of your favorite team.
Make a hat bet.
No. What are we talking about? I don't even have to bet. When I'm saying this, like, just go buy me a hat. Just go buy me a hat of your favorite team. I wear a size 7. I think that works out well enough. And Chef Ross is trying to get me to pay for other people's hats. That's crazy. Like that. Okay, last Thursday for you too. Like, my goodness. I'm just
David Hayes all by himself from now on.
Hey, whatever I got to do, I will find a way to do it. But on Thursdays, we have the coach's daughter. Coming up next, we have Coach Jeff Estrada. We're going to be talking some wrestling with Coach Jeff. And then after that, we're going to get into the coach's daughter corner. And she's going to put Ross in a corner and say, don't talk to David like that anymore. You're right in with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Race to Talladega.
And now on the line with us, our second qualifier, Paul Ritchie, with a time of what, James?
5 seconds.
5 seconds? Paul, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. How you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, man. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited you are about the possibility of going to Talladega?
Always a 10. Always a 10.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The remainder of the day, sunny and a temperature of 77 with wind 8 to 12 miles per hour out of the south. Clear skies tonight, a calm wind and quite warm near 63. Sunny and 78 tomorrow. 79 and mostly sunshine with a light breeze Saturday. Sunday, mostly clouds and a temperature about the same at 81. This is your Thursday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at Bill Bird Kia, PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage, $1,748 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia. DC dealer. All qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. He's so old, he buys his clothes at the same store he buys his groceries.
Are you wearing a grocery bag?
I talk sports in my underwear. I'm going to wear nothing but a thong and a top hat.
Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes, along with the coach's daughter, Leanne Swartzentruber, along with the Brewers fan, Chef Ross Robinson, and along with the fan of the NL Central, James Fife.
I think every team.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Not just the entire Central. I think every team.
Yeah, I like baseball.
And so do I. I mean, look at the hats that I'm wearing, but you have jerseys.
See, I got a couple.
Ticks me off.
I only got like 4 or 5. If you notice, it's just a rotation.
And then like 10 or 12 hockey jerseys.
Yeah, I do got a lot of hockey jerseys, though.
Yeah.
Lots of hockey jerseys. Much more of a hockey fan than a baseball fan, but I do love baseball.
We have Coach Jeff Estrada in with us. He's the coach for the Sun. Owner or coach?
I mean, I
get a little bit closer to that mic. Get a little closer to that microphone.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I am the owner. I created it 20 years ago. We're actually in our 20th year right now, and so I created it as a club. But I am the head coach, and then we have like 4 or 5 branches throughout the U.S., but mostly in this area.
Yeah, and doing big things for the community of wrestling. That's the Sons of Thunder and the Daughters of Zion, which I love that name. Like that is, it's greatness right there, just in the name. What sport do you follow? Any other sports? We're not going to ask you any questions.
I'm pretty dead on wrestling.
Dead on wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely watch a sport. But I don't really find myself entwined in any other sports. Football because it's a tough sport. I do like soccer.
Okay.
If it's European soccer and you know they're kicking hard and they're flying in the air, hockey's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If someone invites me to a hockey game, I'll go.
I need a little bit of violence with this sport.
That's what I was going to say.
So
that's
it's like
right.
y'all can complain about CTE all you want to, but if you ain't gonna tackle the right way, if y'all gonna act like it's flag football, I ain't got nothing to do with it. But I will watch soccer, and with that, right? Soccer is a very physical sport, and I don't think that unless you play it, you don't know how physical the sport of soccer is. But Coach Jeff Estrada in the building with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I hear that you come from up there in Illinois.
Yep, I grew up in a place called Granite City, Illinois, which is, I tell people all the time, when you say Illinois, they say Chicago. And it's not. I'm in southern Illinois, so I grew up right by East St. Louis.
I was born in Crown Point, Indiana, which is very close to Chicago.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I was at the other end. When people ask, I say I'm from St. Louis. So I grew up right next to East St. Louis is my hometown, Granite City. And I lived there for most of my life till probably my early 20s. And then I did a good 12 years in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And then
Nice.
and then I did
What part of
I was
Colorado?
in a place called Parker, Colorado, which is between Denver and Colorado Springs.
So how close is that to like maybe Junction?
Oh, that's Grand Junction's like 2.5 hours from me.
Yeah, right. That's where my friends have moved to from here.
Yeah,
like, I got
Grand
tattoo
Junction's
artists
far
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
who've moved
so
over there,
I would say I'm 45 minutes from Denver, 45 minutes from the Springs. I was right in the middle. I mean, and then I had a club in Castle Rock, which was right on the highway of that. You can go to Denver, hit the road, take a left, go to the Springs, whatever you want.
So Pikes Peak right there in Manitoba Springs?
Yeah, in Manitou Springs.
Manitou.
The incline. We climbed I used to have my athletes
fell down
climb
that
those.
the first time that I climbed up. It was, all right, so me and my brother went up. Me and my brother went up, and we both go up or whatever, and then I can't find him. So it becomes dark.
Oh
and so
gosh.
I'm, where that entrance is, and then if you like go a little bit that way, I just keep going down, and next thing you know, I'm in a tree, like I'm falling down, I'm like cactus all in my tail, like all of that. It was
Manitou.
Yes, sir.
It's a really cool thing to go and do, though. I mean, it's
beautiful.
It's a mile long, stretched up to. I mean, it just goes straight up. And I used to take my athletes there once a month, and we would climb it and come back down.
Wow.
That's
I wouldn't even get on the little short rocks that were in Colorado Springs.
Why not?
Because I just
scared. You scared?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, someone who we have in the building with us is not scared, and that is Coach Jeff Estrada. So before we dive any deeper into this, and we'll go as long as we need to go, how do people help sponsor the wrestlers?
So there's a ton of ways you can sponsor a wrestler. We have packages like you can go sponsor if you know a wrestler, maybe follow somebody. I always challenge people, go pick a high school that's local to you, go look at their wrestling page. A lot of those guys either train with us, cross-train. We have a 501c3, a non-for-profit called Thunder Ministries, and it's a ministry. Yep, it's a ministry that we help kids out. So we take kids off the streets. I've been taking kids off the streets for 20 years, and taking them in, getting them into college. And that's kind of what I do, that I love to do. And so you can give to a single kid, you can give to a program, you can give to, like we're leaving for Vegas tonight. and we're driving to Vegas over a 7-day period to wrestle at what's called the World Team Trials.
Oh, wow.
And so that trip alone cost us almost $1,200 a kid.
Yeah.
And so people sponsor just that trip for certain kids. We have 2 15 passengers that always need maintenance. We have I have one gentleman that he gives strictly to the van because in his life he had grown up being picked up by a van, and going to church or going to wherever he's going.
Right.
And so we have 2 vans that take kids all over. Not only do I pick them up for wrestling, but I pick them up. They need to go to the doctor, help their family. It's kind of like all in. Like wrestling is a unique sport.
That's
awesome. And so we do that for everybody.
Andy Siegel, real quick, if you're listening, you didn't even scratch the daggum surface. Like, ministry is a big thing, I guess, for me in particular. And
me too.
That it's just what you can do for someone. We talked about this last Friday. We were talking about suicide. My brother committed suicide, and it's one of those things that you don't know the impact that you have on someone when you're helping them out. And to you, at that point, I'm not saying to you, I'm saying for us, anyone who's helping someone out, it's like, okay, no big deal. I'm just like doing a good whatever it may be. But when you say the word ministry, I know that you're not talking about religion. Like there's more than just religion. There is a relationship.
Yeah, I'm trying to change the entire destiny, course of action. I grew up, like I said, by East St. Louis. So I actually lived on the streets for 10 years. I struggled with addiction. I overcame. I fell back in. I overcame. I'm almost 10 years sober right now. I tell people,
bro.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, people always are like, it's really hard. I said, listen, I was 5 years sober. I did 5 years thinking I was good. And
then
still,
Phil? See, because I'm right there. Like, I'm in that precipice right now where it's like kind of like up and down, and being transparent with people, for
sure.
Where it's like that. And this is a fun conversation to have, and it might last till the end of the show. So
For me right now, that's right.
What time are you leaving for Vegas?
We're leaving tonight at 10 o'clock after practice.
We got till 10 o'clock then.
Yep.
All right. We'll go till 6. That's all I can give you.
So that's kind of why I do everything I do, is because I always tell, I have a lot of mentors in my life, people who spoke into my life, but I never really felt like I had somebody who was willing to shake me up and willing to go and fight for me when I didn't have no fight. They just always said, hey, you need to do better.
Right.
And they weren't willing to say, hey, I'll fight you over you. And that's kind of what I do as a coach. Like, I fight kids over kids. I can fight their parents when their parents are, like, I tell the parents all the time, your job is to love them. My job is to discipline them and tell them this sport, they're not doing right in the sport. And so I have arguments with parents. I'm really transparent about that. I've had parents come in the room mad at their kid, and I grab them up and say, you get off the bottom. And I'll hold the dad down for 20 minutes. Say, this isn't easy. You're yelling at your kid to get off bottom, and he can't get off bottom.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. You get up. Like, once you can get up and show me, like this tournament we're going to, I'm not this year because I have a bunch of new athletes, but every year it's the U.S. Open. I wrestle in it. And I show the kids, I wrestle veterans my age, and I show the kids, look, you always got to continually overcome fear. You always know, and anybody who says they're not scared in wrestling is lying.
And
anyone who says they're not scared in life is lying.
100%.
There's so many things that happen to you on a daily basis that there's fear that comes along with it. And you can either buck up and stand up to the fear or whatever it may be. But I don't know, man. Like, Andy, I love Coach Siegel because he's just a great friend of the show, of the station, all of that. But I had no idea we were headed this direction. And so, I hope that you can go till 5:40.
I can go till 5:40 for sure. I could go till 6. I could text somebody to run. I start little kids at 6, but it's not a big deal. I could get someone to run it. But more than anything, just please feel free to ask me any questions. I'm pretty open about who I am, where I've come from, what I've done, how I help kids, how I still struggle. And that's like my testimony, right?
Let's start there. Yeah. Let's start there because testimonies to me are huge.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of the times that we get into testimonies, people tend to have I'm a very upfront and open person. Like, if you ask me, I'll tell you I don't care, but I don't care what you think either.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And that's not necessarily right, but growing up in the church, hypocrisy has been such a big thing. So I'd rather just be like, I don't care what you think, and this is reality of me. So let's start with your testimony.
Yeah, I was a kid. When I was 16 years old, I ran away from home. And because my parents had, you said it, nailed it on the head. My parents had they went to church every Sunday. And then during the week, they beat each other up. They abused drugs. They struggled. Not my mother. My mother was a prayer warrior. But I just saw that hypocrisy, and I didn't quite understand that the reason my parents were going to church every Sunday is because of that lifestyle they couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
So they were continually, so I didn't understand that. So I ran away from home at 16 years old and joined a gang. I lived on the streets. I was in a gang. It actually built up really big. I ended up having to do a bunch of time over it. I had a buddy of mine get murdered, and I took him to a fight, and he got killed. And I got charged with what's called wrongful death murder, where you take somebody to a fight, right? And I was in a gang, so and then
you get the gang stuff piled on. So when you're in, you're like dealing with things that the other inmates don't have to deal with.
Now through all that, I had continued to wrestle. So my high school coach was very hardcore. And I had ran away from home, but he said, hey, keep wrestling, try to finish high school. I continued to wrestle. I grew up wrestling in 7th grade.
When did you start wrestling?
I started in 7th grade. I actually played soccer. Like I said, that's why I kind of still like soccer. I played soccer from the time I was little until I was in 7th grade. And I was on a team that split in half. And all the good players went on one team.
Oh, no.
So now you already have this like imposition in your mind, like, dadgummit, why'd y'all do this to me?
I don't want to play soccer anymore. My stepdad had wrestled, and he was a JUCO. He took 7th at nationals, and he said, hey, son, you should try this. And he'd raised me my whole life pretty much. And so I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I went out and I fell in love. I was just like, this is really cool, and our high school was really attached to our junior high program. So I got involved in that. I was a 4-year varsity letterman, 3-time state qualifier. But my senior year, I was living on the streets. I was using drugs. I was still wrestling, trying to keep it. I had scholarships that slowly started to fade away. Probably about 2 years after high school is when I was about 19, is when I went to jail, and I struggled. And then I got out of jail. And I didn't know what to do with my life. For the first time, I had been sober since a long, long time. It'd probably been about 7 years. And my high school coach showed up, and he said, hey, look, you should try to wrestle again. And I was 22. And I was 22. Like, man, I was 22 years old. I was like, I ain't wrestled in 5 years. What am I going to do? Maybe I was going on 23. And he said, still, you should try it. And this coach, his name's Ron Americatani. Him and his son Dave saved my life. I was on an ankle bracelet monitor, and they had a key, and they would unlock it, and I would practice with them over in St. Louis, and then I'd go back home. And then that summer I had a transformation in my life with the Lord, where I walked into a church and just surrendered, gave my whole life up, and started that first year of 5-year sobriety. And so I started being sober. I started coaching. And then my first wrestler was Jake Gregerson. He runs Sons of Thunder Naples down in Naples, Florida. Wow. Yep.
I used to serve it. I used to live in St. Pete. So one of my friend's dad, he had a business where we fixed up the vroom 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 for the older people or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I used to go to Naples.
My kids, my wrestlers love my stories because I've lived 1,000 lives.
I love your stories, bro.
Here's a side story. I took a Greyhound bus. So when I had first gotten out of high school, I got in a bunch of trouble, and I signed up for I stole a guy's car that was a Marine Corps officer, and he said if I signed up for the Marines that he would drop the charges. And I signed up for the Marines, but halfway through boot camp, a guy came to me in chapel and was like, they're sending me to Iraq, and I don't want to go. And I was like, what? And so I ran off, and so then they got me. I came back, And I got out of boot camp in California. They kicked me out, and I took a Greyhound bus 9 days to Florida, Sarasota.
Yes,
and
Sarasota.
I lived in Sarasota, Florida for a year with a girl that I knew and her parents. And I did that twice from California, 9 days on a Greyhound bus.
It takes forever.
9 days on a Greyhound.
That's crazy, bro. But this story is so great. Keep on going, please.
Then I lived sober, and then I had been in the gang, like I said, and it was really hard in the town I lived in, my hometown, where people were still wanting to fight. They were just like, 7 years ago, you hit my brother James. I'm going to get you. And then we were still fighting. And so one time I got into a fight at a gas station with a guy that had just gotten out. He did like 7 years in the joint, and I'd fought him one time. And I broke his jaw in a fight. And so 7 years later, he saw me at the gas station and was like, we're going to finish this. And I had my kid in the car. I had my daughter in the car. And I remember fighting this guy and seeing my daughter out of the corner of my eye, really scared. And I was like, we got to get out of here. And so my real dad lived in Colorado. So I had ran a wrestling club at that time. This young man, his name was Jake Gregerson. His father came on this roof. I was roofing. So I wrestled in college 2 years. I got sober. But when you get sober, you don't really know what you're doing in life. And so I was like, I don't know if I need to wrestle. I got a kid. I need to get a job. And so I was working on a roof, and he came up and he said, my kids are going to quit wrestling if they don't get a good coach. And I seen you wrestle, and I know you could coach. And I was like, I'm not no coach, dude. I'm a roofer. I'm roofing. He said, well, I bought these mats. Will you come to dinner and talk to my kids and maybe coach them? I said, maybe. And so I started a club with two brothers. In 5 years, we won back-to-back dual team state titles. Wow. In junior high, I had 7 state champs, 10 state champs. They all ended up going on to keep wrestling in high school and in college. And Jake went on to wrestle and was an Illinois state runner-up as a freshman, qualified 3 more times. And so when I moved to Colorado, and I started a club there called Parker Sons of Thunder in the town of Parker. They had, at the time, they were the 7-time defending state champs for Colorado, for Ponderosa High School. Really tough program. And I started a program there.
Where's Ponderosa?
It's in Parker, Colorado.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All
and
right,
so there's Ponderosa. Right now.
Why does that make me feel South Park?
Yeah. Well, because it's Colorado, okay. You know, and I'm sure at some point in time they mentioned tons of Colorado.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
And so and so that's where I really established a program. And actually, Jake, who's in Naples, came and lived with me for 7 years and ran my program with us. So we ended up putting 7 or 8 kids on the world team. I really dove into year-round training, putting girls and kids in college. I mean, even at that time, I was taking in kids. I was taking in people off the street when I was in a gang. That's how I kind of got into it. I was living in a home. People were needing a place to stay. I always had a heart for people and giving someone a second chance, because sometimes people just need a second chance to really hit their stride.
Ooh,
you know,
second chance. Well, I need second, third, fourth, and fifth. Like,
I ran out of numbers on how many chances I need.
Yeah, no, but you're so right, bro. Like, you don't mind if we take him over to the next segment?
No.
Okay, because I'm
feel like hoping I'm going to make through
it. For me, I'm that second chance survivor that you speak of, or whatever, third, fourth, fifth. I think so many of us are.
Well, it's a lot of times it's a second chance with somebody. Right? Maybe your 5th chance, but it's a second chance with a new person.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, if you can't make it with me, you're going to really struggle, because I'm really disciplined in helping people get on track. I found a girl a few years ago. Her name's Caitlin Davis. She was from Lakeland, Florida. I was moving from Colorado to Hilton Head Island. That's where I came from. I've only been here for 6 months. So I came from Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. I lived there for the last 4 years. So I was moving from from Colorado to Hilton Head, and I met this girl. She walked into a gym, and I'm like, hey, you want to go be on this dual team with me? I need your weight class. She's like, sure. We go on this duel, and we come home from the duel, and all the kids go home, and she's still at my house. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, I don't got nowhere to live. I'm like, well, you were just in Colorado. Go back there. And she's like, well, I can't. And I'm like, where are you from? She's from Lakeland, Florida. She'd lost her schooling. She's a junior, about that age, about 15. We took her in. 2 years, I work with her. I get her disciplined. Got her into a college. She's a national champ now. She's a world team member. Changed her whole life. And she, you know, she'll come on and tell you she still has struggles. She still has things, but we're working through them on a daily basis. But she changed her just by giving her a place. And I didn't have room. I don't always have room.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes they're on the couch.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're in the garage. Sometimes I'm rebuilding a shed in the back for them to stay. I mean, so it's kind of like what my heart is. My whole ultimate. There used to be this club in Chicago called the Harvey Twisters. Now I'm getting like deep into all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, before you get too deep, all right, stay right there.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a break.
Yep.
You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We got Coach Jeff Estrada with us right now, and this right here, I said powerful. I commented that somewhere on Facebook. I think it was on Cody Shields' Facebook. Mm-hmm. You talk about powerful? That's what we're talking about right now.
Yep.
Please tell your friends and families right now to tune in to ESPN Northwest Florida with Coach Jeff Estrada. We'll be right back.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Clear tonight with a wind at 2 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast and a low of 63. Tomorrow morning, look for a gentle breeze and sunshine with a temperature near 77. The afternoon and evening, a high around 78 and sunshine with a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, hot with a high of 79 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts in Delhi. Call 763-1627.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction, be part of a winning team.
What does it take to live an uncommon life? Here's former Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy with today's uncommon moment.
Since my son's death in 2005, I've talked with hundreds of parents who have lost children to accidents, illness, or violence. Every one of those parents, including me, wishes they could spend just a few more minutes with their child. Listen to God's gentle whisper when He tells you to enjoy the sacred moments of life. When your family asks you to spend some time with them, set aside important business and treasure the opportunity. Invest yourself and your time in the things that really matter before you end up with regrets. Those are the investments that make a difference and that can last forever.
New York Times best-selling author Tony Dungy, author of the popular Uncommon book series. More at CoachDungy.com. That's CoachDungy.com.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Weekdays from 4 till 6. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Well, yeah, every 15 minutes.
Welcome back. We are inside of hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. You're live from the CBC Construction Studios. You can also give us a phone call on the Jed Lawyers phone line. We have Coach Jeff Estrada. We're talking wrestling right now, but really, we're talking life. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think I think that Coach Estrada would agree with me on this. I've never wrestled. You've never wrestled. Fair enough.
Well, not technically.
You all have wrestled in life. That's the truth.
We've all wrestled in life. Okay, but let me get right.
I have been on a mat.
I mean, I was
have
pretty
we
mean to
ever
my little
wrestled
brother.
competitively?
I have.
You have wrestled.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it fair to say that wrestling is one of the sports that maybe lines up with life more so than any other sport?
Now, I told you earlier that I don't watch and I don't do a lot of other sports, but I played a ton.
Yeah,
right? I
there you
played
go.
football. I played soccer. I do a lot. There is no other sport that is compared to life because there's nothing else. I have seen the best wrestler. We were talking about Gable Stevenson, right?
Yep.
Olympian. There was no way anybody thought he was going to lose. There's no way. He was an Olympic champ. An Olympic champ always is better than a NCAA
Amateur,
champ,
yeah.
right? There's no possible way, but there's always a way. And that's the same thing about life, right? Wrestling. And so wrestling, that's why I do a lot with wrestling. So there's a lot of people I hear, like they say, guys that hire guys that are wrestlers because they know that they're going to endure whatever that company needs to be endured, right? Wrestlers make the best military people. Navy SEALs. I think I saw a statistic that said like 50% of them are wrestlers because they can endure more than anybody else because of what they've endured for wrestling, you know? And so I think, I mean, I tell people all the time, the oldest sport is wrestling, you know, somebody,
I mean,
Jacob wrestled an angel.
Sure, go back to the Greek Olympics and wrestler will be there.
Yeah, Jacob wrestled an angel. That was the first match ever.
Oh, okay,
First
all right.
match ever
so,
right
so
there.
now we're going back to what, like Genesis
Yeah.
4, 5, maybe? Like,
yeah. And he broke his hip, right? So he endured a lot. So yeah, I think it's that is literally why I really, I mean, I really advocate for kids, especially troubled kids. Like every school program should have. Oh, you're in trouble? Go to wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like I had a kid court ordered to me before through this because the courts knew I was running this kind of, and I was like, make him wrestle. He's going to learn discipline. He's going to learn how to control his anger. He's going to learn that because you can be really tough and you can have all the anger you want, but come in against a skilled wrestler who's just as tough, who has just as much anger.
They gonna get you.
Yeah.
They gonna get you.
You're a human pretzel.
It's like it's like all the tough guys in the bar who are like, oh, I'll go whoop. I'm not gonna use Conor McGregor because maybe right now they might, but someone who's training actively. Those guys will whoop you time in and time out.
And I've fought. I fought for close to 10 years. I fought like 15 fights total. And it was the same thing with fighting. Like even wrestling, like I'm a great wrestler. But when someone kicked me in the leg, I thought it was a baseball bat. It felt like they broke it because they were so skilled. People don't really realize what it inquires you to be a martial artist or to do a combat sport like wrestling or anything. Those people are so much different. But I also truly believe, like I have old coaches would say, oh, that kid, you can't put heart in this kid. And I believe I'm a heart surgeon. I believe I'm going to come in and put a heart in a kid who is weak, who might have, because that's how I was. That's why I got in the gang. I was weak.
Character trait right there.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm a heart surgeon in sports. I'm a heart surgeon in youth. You got a weak kid. I mean, I have countless people that would tell you their kid came to my program, wouldn't even get on the mat. They were crying. Little kids, soft dads, big old dads being like, I've never seen him act like this and cry because they were scared. And I'd say, come on, take my hand. Let's just jog.
Hold on.
In a month, they'd be wrestling.
You're in Panama City?
Yes.
Listen, dads, moms that are listening right now, I know you probably have a weak kid. All right.
Right?
I'm trying to tell you how to help America, right? You sit there on your Fox News and everything and you want America to get better. Do something about it. Like you just think that things are going to get better just because you think they're going to get better. That's not how things work.
Got to work for it.
Send them to my guy right now, Jeff Estrada. He's going to give you the phone number, and then he's going to continue on what he's talking about because what he's talking about right now is reality, and we've got so many
Yeah.
Hey, I hear you. I feel the same way. And my club is 6-year-olds all the way to high school, college kids. Oh, wow. And I have adults that come in and want to learn wrestling, and I just say, you got to get in with the high school kids. It's hard work. It's hard work. You learn it. I tell people all the time, wrestling's for everybody. At what level? Now that's different. But everybody should learn to wrestle and defend themselves. And here's another thing. I don't know if Andy told you, but I have 4 girls. All 4 of my girls wrestle. Yeah, I have 4 daughters.
You're...
Yeah.
You just earned some major wings. Right?
Yeah, he earned major wings when he came here and started talking. But yeah,
4 girls.
So I have 4 girls. So I advocate for women wrestling. It's the #1 scholarship in America right now being given away.
I've heard that.
Yep, it's the fastest growing sport in America.
That's
women's
awesome.
wrestling. It's growing hundreds and hundreds of girls.
I'm so glad they broke off from girls wrestling on the boys team.
For sure.
I didn't see that being viable. I have no problem with girls high school growing up playing boys sports, but wrestling is the one sport where and I always told people it's a sexual harassment lawsuit just waiting to happen when you got girls wrestling boys because of moves that you have to do and places that your body goes to. But I'm so glad that they have split it off for a girls division and a boys division.
And girls deserve it.
They do.
And I tell people, like my second daughter's named Zayo. She was a 3-time boy state placer in South Carolina.
Wow.
Because they didn't have women's wrestling sanctioned. And so I tell people, I'm pretty honest about it. I tell people all the time, it's harder. I used to tell my girls when they were growing up, my first daughter, Jersey, she's 24 now. We never saw a girl wrestle. The Olympics started women's wrestling, I think, in 2008.
So, is it that late?
Yeah.
Man,
it might be 2004, but I'm pretty sure it's 2008. So we never saw girls wrestle, right? So I used to tell my older daughter when she'd beat a boy, I'd say, hey, don't get too excited. It's going to take 3 times of beating that boy for me to know it's real. Because the first time he's scared to death. Second time he's getting over the fear. And the third time his dad told him, if you don't give it everything you got right now, son, this girl's going to beat you again.
And then that's pressure. Yeah. That's major pressure.
We're going to take a quick break here from... The greatness from Coach Jeff Estrada, and we're going to continue on with it because we have Jack. Jack, you're right in with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing, brother. How y'all doing today?
Doing good, Jack.
How if it was a scale of 1 to 10, I'd be at like 2-digit zeros past 10, so like 1,000. I'm doing phenomenal, my friend. How are you doing?
Doing good. I just wanted to come on here and Coach Estrada. I wanted to. Is he still in on? He's still in there, right? Mm-hmm. Man, I want to say, man, I love hearing stories like that, man, because you help people like that, and I help people too, but I do it in a different way of helping people as far as wrestling goes, and I love that, man. And I do benefits to help people and stuff, but I would love to have you one time to come on one of my shows, my benefits too.
You let me know, brother. What's your name again?
Jack Patterson, and I can hook you up.
Okay, hook me up. I am up for anything. I'm up for meeting people, talking to people.
I do pro wrestling.
Yeah, he does indie wrestling shows.
Okay, awesome. Mm-hmm. I would love that, man. That would be amazing.
Jack, you have a show coming up soon.
That's crazy, bro. It's professional.
Independent.
Have you lost your kayfabe or what?
So, Jack, you have a show coming up soon, don't you?
Yeah, June 7th, I have one in Walsall, Florida.
Sweet. Give me some information on that, and I'll come if I can make it. I'm traveling a lot with wrestling, but I would love to come and check it out.
Yeah, man, I just love helping. I mean, it's just, I know it's a different way of helping somebody, but I just love when you're helping kids and stuff like that. I just love that, and love hearing stories like that. And because I'm going to tell you something, talking about discipline. When I first started wrestling years ago, it actually helped me and discipline myself, and a lot of times in pro wrestling, and and you're right, and it's discipline, and it helps people, and I love that.
For sure, I work with a guy in Georgia. I'm trying to think of his name. He owns a company called Fat and Scrappy, and he does pro wrestling. And he was a wrestler. And there's a big guy right now in the WWE. I got to think of his name. D'Angelo Hancock. You know that name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know D'Angelo from back in the day. D'Angelo was a Greco-Roman. He's one of the last people to bring home a medal for the U.S., and now he's in the WWE. And D'Angelo was a struggling kid who ended up having nowhere to. I don't think he had anywhere to go, and he went and lived at the Olympic Training Center for 10 years, and now he's in the WWE, and he's doing really well. Oh, wow. So a lot of those WWE guys are from a wrestling background because they can flip, jump, slam, throw. They've endured a lot.
Yeah. But Gable Stevens just talking about earlier, I don't know if he's still in WWE, but he was at one time still. I don't know if he still is.
No, he lost his contract once he went and played football.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I just wanted to come on and to say I love that and stuff. And I want to get up with you one time and bring you one of my shows or something.
Anytime you want. Listen, our gym's located in Lynn Haven. We're at the jiu-jitsu. I share a jiu-jitsu school with Black Sheep Jiu-Jitsu, and it's called Gulf Coast Academy. And I have the address right here. The address is Gulf Coast Academy.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Gulf Coast Grappling Academy, which is Black Sheep Jiu-Jitsu. It's at 1800 SR 77 South, Unit 400 in Lynn Haven, Florida. That's where I run my club out of. And I tell people all the time, you want to see, we're having a good time, right? You want to see me in my realm, come watch a practice.
Yeah,
I work with 3 and 4 years olds.
I'm not doing that. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, you should see what I could do with some 3 and 4 year olds and get them doing moves. That's my favorite group. Everybody doesn't understand. They're like, I can't work with little kids.
If I had, and that's, listen.
Yeah.
No, this is beautiful right now. I'm a baseball guy, right? I have to, if I'm going to coach someone, they got to be, like, competitively, like, ready, you know?
Yeah.
You're sitting here saying, in a more competitive sport.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what age you are, dog. Like, I got you. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And it goes to, it's not crazy.
Patience is a virtue.
Good. Yeah.
And it has been put upon me, and a lot of people can't do it, but I love to coach a kid at 3 years old, then when he's 5, then when he's 8, then when he's 14, and when he's 15 years old, I look at him and say, you ready? We're going to go get on the world team, and then we're going to be in Azerbaijan next month, beating other people and running with an American flag, being an Olympian. The Olympic dream's dead. You don't hear people talk about it anymore.
No, it's not like it
you ask a kid what he wants to be in
football, though.
What do you want to be?
Come on.
Yeah, what do you want to be when you get older? And a kid says a TikToker. I want to be. They don't say I want to be an Olympic champion.
No,
right.
Like, come on, like what lasts longer?
Digital creator.
Yeah, digital.
That's not gonna last.
That's what they want to be.
No,
for sure.
Though none of that's gonna last.
No.
Like you get on your TikTok and. Yeah, I mean, we are already into that point where it's oversaturated. But here's the thing. What do podcasters look for?
Authenticity.
No.
Well,
yes, to an extent, but niches or niches
Yeah.
or whatever they want to explain it as, those are running out soon, Like, to me, kids or parents, get your kids into wrestling, and if you want to get your kids like doing what they should be doing, go to Jeff Estrada. My goodness gracious, this is crazy. We have about 2. We're gonna go over here, so it doesn't even matter. What's your biggest focus when developing new wrestlers?
Well, wrestling's so tough. I think you have to teach them to not get upset. It's such a tough sport, and you can't focus on winning and losing. The minute you in a match, in the moment, in a match, no matter what the score is, if you focus on winning, you're going to lose. And if you don't focus on, I just got to score another point, I just got to stay in position. A lot of kids don't have that mindset. Like when people ask, well, what makes a great wrestler? And it's the fact that they can do mathematical problems while their arms and legs do wrestling moves, right? That they can separate that concepts. They can see what they need to do, and their body does the rest because of the amount of repetitions they put in. So it's something that's what I really focus on, is just teaching kids to learn to and love getting the reps.
Jack, are you on to your questions?
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing. But yeah, I would love to have you come on there and talk to people. Plus, I would like to have a little match with some of your kids. You
want to have a match with one of his kids?
No,
I think he wants to put a match on. I got a couple. What do you weigh? I got a couple kids that might be your weight class. We can get you.
I can guarantee you this, Jeff. The youngest weight class of yours would whoop my tail.
But yeah, you get my number and shoot me a message. We are all about it. Anything that we can do to promote and give people the understanding. I've been here 6 months. That's what I said earlier. I'm trying to create a culture. There are other great wrestling programs in the area. They are doing great things too. I just want to add to that. You know, it's like seeing a beautiful house and then you walk in the backyard and there's the beautiful pool, right? I'm that pool. You know, I'm not everybody's taste. Come and check me out. If you don't like it, I will refer you to another program that might be better. There are tons of them all over. There's Sowall Elite down in Santa Rosa Beach. There's Coastline that's run out of Bay High. There are a lot of great programs in this area. What I think is that now is the time that I'm the kind of person that really just begins to push everybody to work together and make sure that we can really get something done in this area. The Panhandle is really kind of in the wrestling area in Florida because Miami's so big and there's all Tampa and they're just like, those guys are in the Panhandles. They got the beach, you know?
Yeah.
And so we really are going to do some things this year that no one in the Panhandle's ever done.
I definitely see you being the smoke that ignites that flame to just get that fire going huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I just try to encourage coaches. You know, a lot of coaches are at their ceiling because no one else had a ceiling higher. Yeah. They haven't seen it, right?
They haven't been challenged.
Yeah, like I'm going to World Team Trials in Vegas, right? We're driving. It's pretty expensive. I'm not taking any state champs. And I've gotten messages today from people being like, dude, these guys are going to get beat up. And I just told them, like the Manitou Incline that we talked about earlier, right? You don't know what you're getting into till you walk up there and look up. And that's what I'm doing. I'm taking them to a tournament that is the threshold of the best of the best. Now you know where you are. You know where you got to go and what you're going to do, you know? Yeah. And next year we're taking 7 kids from this area, and I got 3 kids going from South Carolina. I have a total of 20 going that are from colleges. I have a kid that's living at the Olympic Training Center right now named William Jakeway, who I trained from the time he was 10, and he's at the OTC full time.
Spell Jakeway.
Jakeway.
Oh, just like it sounds. I thought it was going to be something different.
Well, that's an American name if I ever heard.
Yeah, we call him William. His name's William Jakeway. We call him William Wallace. No, because his story is pretty amazing. I met Jakeway and he was a 125-pound, 10-year-old, overweight, and really short. I mean, very, very short. He lost 50 pounds over a year course. He lost 50 matches in a row. Didn't win a match for 50 in a row. Most people can't endure that.
Yeah,
and then one day William won, and from that moment on, he continued to win, and now he lives at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs on a full scholarship, training to be an Olympian for the next 10 years.
All I can say is that Colorado space is crazy awesome.
But I'm going to go, David.
Jack, what you got?
Go, David. I'm going to go. I'm going to go ahead and go, but I will be getting up with him because I like to do two of his kids wrestle on a show, one of my shows. I would love to have 2 of his young kids to wrestle and
my thing is, Jack, real quick, I would love for, a couple of kids to wrestle, but are you going to wrestle Jeff? That's my question.
No.
Okay. Hey, all right. Hey, listen. Let's keep it 100.
Used to be.
You got David Hayes in your corner with the table.
Yeah. I think I'm coming after this guy after we talk about things? That's crazy. Like, no. I would be in a ring with him and say, tap out as soon as we get into it. Hey, Jack, thanks so much for the call, my friend.
Okay, man. Later.
All right, Jack Patterson, I'll hook you guys up and we'll make that happen. What's the difference in, preparing for a wrestler for club wrestling and high school wrestling?
Well, club is folk style. I don't know if you guys know the difference, but folk style is what America only does. Oh. And then the Olympics are what's called freestyle and Greco. Mm-hmm. Greco, you can't touch the legs. It's all upper body and all throws. You pretty much can only throw people, lift them, and throw them.
It's some good freaking flyer miles.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. It's the hardcore of them all. So high school is 4 months long. Freestyle and Greco is all summer. Club wrestling is just the next level. Most high school state champs. Now again, you go down to South Dade. their high school is hammers. So they don't need a club, although they probably still have a club. But you can have a high school that you don't have to have a club. But most high schools have 1 or 2 athletes that are tough. Club is several tough athletes in the area coming together, right? And so, and my club focuses more on freestyle and Greco than we do anything, because I think folk style. I just think if you're a world champ, even though Gabe Stevenson lost, he's still remembered as an Olympian for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So I also believe that I try to get everybody. I truly believe that my place in this world is to find athletes and kids that they were supposed to be something, and now they're just going to be a little bit more than that something, right?
So would you agree that freestyle takes the most discipline? Because folk style gives
Greco is.
But with Greco, you still need more power to throw. With freestyle, you got everything.
We'll wrestle, and then we'll find out.
It's probably, I believe that people believe that, but so this is what I look at it as. Folk style is a skill that is something like carpentry. And then you have freestyle, which is the carpenter and the tile guy and everybody, and the guy who can design a house. And then you have Greco, which is Picasso. Something that nobody else can really do to be good. Yeah, and it's something that is so difficult. And everybody thinks it takes strength, but what it takes is mathematical balance.
Ooh.
It's close to gymnastics as it comes. In fact, if you go to Russia, Germany, their Greco athletes do they do gymnastics until they're 8 years old, and then they come in and start Greco wrestling.
Oh.
Most 90% of them, yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the wrestling, when you go to the wrestling gym,
it's so strong.
Yeah, when you take your kids to the wrestling gym in Russia, they start off in gymnastics, and they're tumbling, and they're learning the core, because Greco takes core, and it takes, you got to grab a guy, and you got to do a back walk with him in your hands.
Let me ask you this, as Americans, should we get rid of kindergarten and just go to athletic garden?
So remember when I said I lived in Colorado? So in Colorado, I actually started it was a school, K through 12. And in kids, everybody there went to school and they all wrestled. And so we had kindergarten through 2nd grade PE, which was wrestling, 3rd through 5th, and it was a school, and I did that for 10 years. And so it was 60% online and 40% offline so that we could travel all over the country. I took 21 of those kids, including a 7-year-old without his parents, to Germany for 21 days.
Oh my God.
21
days.
That's trust right there.
99 red balloons, send them up in the sky.
Yeah.
I love that song.
It was really cool.
That's before
I take a group to Sweden every year in November. So these guys that I'm training right now, will hopefully get some of them going to Sweden with us. Bear, Andy's.
Yeah.
And I'll give, Andy is probably the reason I'm here, to be honest with you.
Okay. Give the man some love so I can tell him
Panama
later,
City.
hey, you should have given me better notes.
Yeah,
No,
in Panama City, because I came here not knowing. We talked about my past, right? And I'm pretty open. My oldest daughter struggled, and so we got her in a program called Path of Grace here. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yes.
So she's in Path of Grace right now, been 6 months sober. And so we moved here, and I didn't think I'd coach ever again. I actually moved here just for my daughter and my family, so that when she could have her
best
visits,
friend, no, seriously, keep on going.
That's
on.
another project.
No, you're good. So when we moved here, so that when she got her first visit at 6 months, we would have a home established for her. And she got to come on her first home visit a month and a half ago. And so when I moved here, I didn't know if I'd ever coach again. I just knew I had to move here. And that's what the Lord said, just move here and your daughter will come. And I came. And so we came, and that happened. And then Andy reached out to me and said, hey, I got this little small club. It's got about 8 or 10 tough kids, but they're all the tough kids that went to Fargo. Fargo's the biggest national tournament in the country.
Yeah.
And I go to it every year. Last year, my daughter won it. Both my daughters have both won it. They've both been in the finals 3 and 4 times.
Why is your daughter in here today?
I know.
Well, one's in college and one's in Path of Grace. But hey, we can get her in here on a time. It'd be awesome to get
absolutely.
her. She has a great testimony.
I
love
testimonies.
I'm always joking, but I'm always serious.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell with me.
No, because we're on the same boat. So it's like,
did Bear win? Did Bear win that tournament last year?
Fargo, no. Bear went to Fargo. I think he went 3 and 2. But that's our goal, to win Fargo, right? So that's what I'm training all these kids for.
That is great.
I'm going to ask for a
raise?
A vote? No, I've been asking
media
for a
credentials
raise for 3
to go to
years.
Fargo.
I want a raise, but that's not happening. No, I'm going to ask from you guys. All right, so this is y'all's day, right, where you're doing the show.
Yeah.
would y'all rather Coach Jeff Estrada come in and finish the final segment of the day, if he's willing, or would y'all rather talk about other sports?
What do you think? We
Other
already
sports.
said he was staying. Well, it is going to make you late.
Yeah, I do have to. How about? Why don't we?
All right, let's
hey,
do
listen,
this.
let's do this.
All right.
Let me give a suggestion. I'm leaving for Vegas tonight, right?
Yeah.
Let me go to Vegas. Let me come back, and let's
then
go
we
on
talk again.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Coach
And then you'll be
Jeff
able to share
Estrada,
everything about
ladies
the
and gentlemen.
Oh, the tales.
Can we not talk over me? No, I'm just kidding.
We always talk over you.
Hey, listen, without her, I'm not in this position.
1,000%.
She gave me, she blessed me into this position. Coach Jeff Estrada, ladies and gentlemen, and this will not be the last time.
No.
And next time, you're coming in with wrestlers.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
that
They
would
were
be
out in the
great.
van.
Yeah, I
They
know.
were scared to even come in. 2 of them live in South Carolina. They've been living at my house for 30 days getting ready for this tournament. They're out there being like, I'm not going in. I said, I always tease everybody. I was like, they want you to come in and they want you to talk.
I did tell
have
you
to
that. I
pronunciate
did tell you
correctly.
that, yeah.
I know, and it freaks out some
Yeah.
kids. It really does.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, for sure. I'll bring a wrestler or 2 in with me.
That'd
Coach,
be great.
Thank you so much
Yes,
for your time.
thank you.
More than that, thank you so much for. I didn't mean my hand wave towards what she said. I was just saying, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for what it is that you do for our community, not
And for
just
so
here
many people,
and
yeah.
where we're at, but for all of America, man.
Yeah, come down anytime and just watch. Just see these
Yeah, I
kids
would
in their
like
hard
to
work.
do
Come
that.
by. We have chairs that sit right there. Like I said, it's Black Sheep Jiu-Jitsu is the other program that's running there, and then the whole, we kind of call it Gulf Coast Grappling Academy.
Yeah,
Because we have so much grappling stuff going on. But yeah, come check it out. You would love it. I have on Mondays is my best day. I have little kids 3 to 7. Then I have, for an hour, then I have 8 to 12s, and then I have high school. And so you could come at the very end of 3 to 7, and I can show you those little guys'
I would
moves.
want to see
They
that.
love to see show their moves. When we're
Yeah.
when we're done here, I'm gonna show you just a 2-second clip of one of them doing a move, and you're gonna crack up. It's amazing. And then just come and check it out. You guys would love it. I challenge anybody, just come by and watch and see that the youth are doing something better.
Right.
Yes. There we go. And James is like, I wish that this youth-minded Echo would get to a break because I'm just trying to click this button. You're right on the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. James said it's time for a break.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
I was a bench warmer. No, but you can.
He was left out.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, hell yeah, I was. And, yeah.
Yes.
No, actually, it happens. You are crazy, but
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Clear tonight with a wind at 2 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast and a low of 63. Tomorrow morning, look for a gentle breeze and sunshine with a temperature near 77. The afternoon and evening, a high around 78 and sunshine with a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, hot with a high of 79 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Bestway Portable Buildings recognizes the optimism in the air, and a golden age has begun for all to share. Bestway has been constructing durable, custom-made portable buildings in just about any size since 1989. They know what they're doing. Of course, you're not obligated in any way to buy from Bestway Portable Buildings. However, owner Jason Mulder asks that you please give them a try before you buy. Bestway Portable Buildings, a golden age builder north of the Old Mall on Highway 231 and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red royals, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. He stuck his head in the microwave and chanted Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket! Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs.
Hope you're drunk or heading home to a trailer.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Leanne tells me I'm not getting it, but I feel like I am getting it. Like a daggum. Oh, wait, hold on. This noise makes me reminded of the race at Talladega. And we're looking for a name right now. I got a lot
we are looking
of
for a name
in front of me. We're gonna go with Drew Gerhardt. Drew Gerhardt, you are now on the clock. You've been riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. And you can listen to the Coach Hale Show mornings at 7:15, 8:15 for the code word of the day. When you hear the code word and your racing name announced, go to 850-215-6290. Then listen back at 1240 with the Inside Drive and 540 with the show's almost over.
Yes, we have about a minute left.
Yeah, so y'all listen to the Coach Hale Show. They're going to give you a name at 7:15, 8:15, 12:40, 5:40. Listen back. If we say your name, you better call back. Drew Gerhardt, guess what? You failed once again. That's trash. That's garbage. I hate it. But I will also say, heck of a show today.
Very much so.
Did it have anything to do with me? Yes. Did it have anything to do with Coach Jeff Estrada?
Absolutely.
100%. That was the guy. Did it have anything to do with the coach's daughter? She's the reason we're all here.
Literally. You wouldn't have got the job.
Us.
We wouldn't have done Fan Friday. I wouldn't be here.
Right.
No, I never thought about it like that.
I do. I think about it a lot like that. I don't. Wow. And I guess... I'll say this. I'm also thankful for Coach Georgia Walker because without her...
We have no coach's daughter.
We have no coach's daughter.
She'll be here this weekend.
What?
How come she's not here now?
Oh, they're not here.
Is she coming to a show? Wait, is this it? This is it? Jesus loves you. So do I. Leanne said, I hate you all. Chef Ross said... Y'all, I said, y'all are good people. Keep doing your thing. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
The Atlanta Braves are back.
Here comes